Hey everybody, we're back with another comic book not movie, comic book review. And to go alongside with the Spider Verse stuff, I covered very recently, which you can check out on my YouTube channel. Links are in the description. Like and subscribe, share with your friends. Uh, the PS4 Spider Man comic, uh, based on like the Gamerverse of the Marvel PlayStation stuff. They only did one for Spider Man and one for, well, there's three for Spider Man and one for Iron Man, if I remember correctly. They haven't done much. I'm surprised they haven't really delve into more of the Marvel PlayStation level stuff, which they should, despite the crappiness of the Marvel's Avengers. You could tell some solid comic book stories. But anyway, I want to cover one of, because I haven't really gotten much into Silk Comics. I think because this story is a 5-issue run written by Emily Kim, art by, uh, sorry, art by Takeshi Miyazawa. And Emily Kim had written at least a couple, if not at least three. There's only two that I think she actually written with Silk. Uh, and I figured last year I want to get into some Silk stuff. And, you know, a lot of this is very Korean oriented kind of stuff. It's like heritage, because I don't know if that many people know that Silk is a Korean American woman. So, correct me if I'm wrong, people, because I might not be that privy to Emily Kim's work. This is the first time I actually read anything that she's done. From my recollection, she also might be Korean. So you got like a Korean-centered bad guy that we'll be definitely into. So Silk, who, if you're not familiar with, she was also, in her origin story, is bitten by the same spider that bit Peter Parker. She was at the same kind of science expo, uh, uh, symposium, or whatever you want to call it, because the from Peter Parker's knowledge, the spider that bit him, he thought died off after he bit him, but it didn't die right away. It also crawled towards the leg of Silk, who, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep calling her Silk, but she has a freaking name. I don't want to go through the pages. I just want to just get it right away. Sorry. I keep just going to call her Silk, but she has a name. Cindy Moon. It's like it was staring me in the freaking face this whole time. Cindy Moon. And I'll dig her costume. As it's a very kind of classy, and I like the whole mask and everything like that. All that really really fits. Uh, and the webs doesn't come out the same way as well, actually, because I'm thinking about like the movie. Peter Parker doesn't make his own webs. He has web cartridges. There's been a few instances in different universes with Spider-Man actually making his own webs, with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man being one of those variants. But Silk also produces her own web, and it comes out through her fingers. Uh, if you had watched my video on my first Spider-Man comic book review, uh, when Spider-Man had, and you can check it out on my YouTube channel, is the first time Spider-Man Peter Parker met with one of the inheritors, the bad guys that many different variants of Spider-Man had to fight against, these interdimensional vampires. he meets Morlun for the first time, and Peter meets up with another guy, Ezekiel, who also had gotten spider abilities through a different mystical means, and he just never became a superhero, but he used it to build off a company that he became well off with, and he knew about these inheritors and built like a secret bunker for Peter Parker, but Peter never used it because he ended up fighting against this guy. And Morlun, if you think about it, it's kind of like Spider-Man's Bane / Doomsday. He's like one of the most toughest opponents Spider-Man has ever dealt with. And it's like a family of these guys. And it's usually they take like at least maybe like 8 or 9 or more Spider people to take down at least one of these dudes, especially if one of them was actually weakened and haven't fed in a while. They're very, very tough. Silk eventually left the bunker and has lived in there since she was a teenager because Ezekiel got to her before he had a chance to get to Peter Parker. So to keep both of them safe from Morlun ever fighting them or any of the inheritors finding them, she lived in that bunker for many years until after the event of Marvel's Original Sin, where Peter eventually figured out about Cindy Moon, released her from the bunker, and then through some series of events, she became her own person. But because they were bitten by the same spider, they had some kind of natural kind of pheromone thing between each other where they just cannot keep their hands off each other. They're just naturally intertwined to just fuck, for lack of a better word. They just end up going at it. I think over time, writers kind of like toned that down a bit. I don't think there's much of a thing like that anymore, at least not from my recollection. I know that was a thing, but I don't think writers, since then really placated on that much. But over time, especially after the Spider-Verse adventures and everything like that, Cindy Moon became her own person. She's like an investigative reporter, not too dissimilar to what Peter did, because she also works for J. Jonah Jameson, but in a more different caveat of news reporting. So that's where we have her right now in this, current status quo. And all throughout this story, you get, the themes of like, how you feel like, like in terms of like mental old age and physical old age. It's placated all through the story. Cindy is, of course, like fighting these crooks, and of course she kind of feels out of place. When she got put in the bunker, they didn't have like social media and phones, like camera phones and all this other stuff when she was put in a bunker. A good, decent portion of her life was gone. She'd been in the bunker for so long. Now she's like, as most people kind of make a point, she kind of got like an old soul. So she is a young woman, but mentally she's like, let's just say, kind of like Captain America in a way, where his mindset, he grew up in a different age where now he has to get used to certain things, which in the modern era, Cindy in a way is kind of like that. Let's say she was like put in a bunker, mid to late 90s. And it wasn't until like maybe late 2010s, let's just say 2010s, he was released from the bunker. So it's a good portion of the 2000s that she wasn't privy to. Now she's just, in this social media age that she's not privy and understanding of. There's this kid who got taken hostage by one of these punks, and Cindy saves him, but he asks like, "Oh, can I get a selfie with you? I just got," and he's live streaming this whole entire thing. I got saved by Silk, you guys, and she's just like, "Dude, do you understand? You almost got yourself killed trying to snap a photo of me." It's like, and it's like, better for the gram, blah blah blah. So it's kind of harkens to. I like this part here because it's kind of harkens to, it's kind of perfect story for somebody like Cindy Moon. You don't really, I mean, you can tell certain stories like that with Captain America, but I think it's kind of more apt for somebody like Cindy Moon, because she doesn't understand this kind of mindset these kids now have, these day and age. Or not just kids, but just people in general. They're consumed by social media. And they to the point where it's like it's kind of like you see it on the news a lot. It's like people get beat up or whatever, and instead of calling the cops, they immediately go to their phone. Well, they go to the phone not to immediately call the cops, but to live stream what's going on. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it can be a detriment, because like during the event of the tragedy of I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his dollar name of crap. I'm sorry, because I feel ashamed for not remembering this poor man's name. George Floyd. Yeah, that was it. That was because I'm so sorry for blanking on that. The George Floyd, people around there, properly use social media to capture this tragic thing and the abuse of power that you see from many times from police, that black people have been saying that for many years, but now we got to capture it here and the whole world to see, this type of evil, wicked event. So social media can be a benefit. To wake people up and put notice on things. And sometimes it can be a detriment too, because if something you're live streaming like your house burning down or something, instead of calling the 911 fire department kind of thing, that can be like a bad thing. I'm just using that as a freaking example. So Cindy, is trying to. She's seeing a therapist, trying to. I think the therapist, is kind of hinted that the therapist know who she is. I don't know. It's I don't think the therapist knows who she is really. It's kind of play fast and loose. But Cindy's trying to find like a place in this kind of modern age or social media age. I think we kind of like gone past like what is determined as modern age, digital age, and then this social media age. And J. Jonah Jameson's telling everybody we got to get pictures of Silk, because he pointed out about how you got like all these kids, we gotta beat these kids with all this social media and the camera phones, because it's also bringing up the fact that newsprint is kind of dying because everybody has a phone. So there's no point. I mean, I won't say there's no point, but it's like reporters can't get to a certain places fast enough in order to get the first snapshot of something. They usually got to get a second hand or whatever, I'm not sure how the whole thing works, but like back in the day, yeah, reporters have to be on that beat, gotta get the nose of the grindstone, have to make it to a certain site to get pictures and reports and everything like that. And pictures probably like the worst thing because like everybody got a camera phone, so you can't be like the first news outlet with the first pictures. So it makes it tough. So this kid that Cindy saved is kind of social media twerp, goes to this museum where it's supposed to be hosting this gala for all this Korean architecture and artwork and all the stuff that was earlier in the comic was discovered and supposed to be put on display soon. And he ends up taking this kind of ceremonial dagger thing, bringing it too close to one of the sarcophagi, and release this Korean witch from her slumber. And he lost his hat. He goes back for his hat. It's almost like played like a horror movie. He goes back for his hat, and he ends up getting taken, and his energy is getting sucked away because it's kind of like an energy vampire. She kind of looks just like was Japanese, not Korean, but like if you know about Jiangxi, it's like a vampiric Japanese vampire. She's almost kind of like that, or at least a Korean version of that. But instead of draining the victim of his or her blood, stealing their youth. So when he's found by Cindy, he's like an old man at this point, which kind of shocked Cindy. Now she gotta investigate this because now it start, little by little, it started to become like I won't say an epidemic, but more and more people, specific people. It's almost like a serial killer in a way, because this witch is targeting specific individuals. So you'll know a little bit later. So Silk goes to the museum and talks with the curator, who gives her the history on this witch, who's called the Manyo, the Manyo. Well, she called it a Korean shaman, but by and large, it's kind of like a witch, or vampiric witch, or however you want to view it. And the curator gives her a tale about the Manyo, who, at a young age, she was viewed as like a healer, be able to give some life force to the ailing. But as time went on, her village viewed her as kind of like a witch, cast her out, and so it's kind of like the way like mutants are, like view her as like an outcast or a freak or something like that. So she ended up becoming, it twisted her values, and she just became like a bad guy. And so she went after other religious leaders in her village and stole their life force. And Cindy eventually put two and two together that the people that she's targeting are social media influencers. It doesn't matter what kind of influencers, because just like the religious leaders of her time, who had like a grand scale of followers, social media influencers are kind of like this day and age is like religious people in a way, like a different facet. Uh, you see, when Cindy goes to this concert, you know, uh, that she was invited to by this lady who's, I think she might be a mutant or something. You would think it would have been like Boom Boom, not Boom Boom. What's up that uh mutant rock star uh Dazzler, but it's another lady who has like kind of like ice powers or something. And one of her, because Cindy goes to all these different kind of classes. I don't know why she got to go to like it's like I guess she's trying to like reevaluate her life. She's trying to like find herself, obviously. But she goes to this pottery class and she does this like hacking class. She's trying to like I guess integrate herself in this modern age, but also trying to find herself. And she gets asked out by I guess this teacher in this hacking class, and they take her to this rock concert. Uh, who's that rock star? Uh, crap. What is the doggone name of this person? Luna Snow. I know it has like a L in there. I assumed it was Luna. Luna Snow, who was like is like this like rock star. I'm not sure if she's like a straight up mutant. Like I think she might be a mutant. She has ice powers, and uh, the Manio sends out the her goons or ghouls, I guess, to go collect her so she can absorb her because she has like all these powers. So she has you know kind of power, I guess. The more influencers, the more power she wills. Uh, that she want to transfer to make herself stronger. So Silk, luckily, is there and takes down, with the help of Luna, takes down these ghouls. And of course, I'm kind of glad because I understand this is like Cindy's story, but Luna offers some help, but it's like like Cindy declines because like, a you are on tour, so you can't just stop what you're doing, and secondly, it's my kind of deal. I gotta handle it myself, kind of thing. But it's just like sometimes it gets kind of aggravating for most readers who's been reading comics for a long time. It's like a fair bit of it's like with Spider-Man, because like when I was reading the story when he met up with Mon for the first time, he stopped to try to call the Fantastic Four to get some help, but of course and then the Avengers, because it was either Avengers or the Fantastic Four. Either way, they're off world or something like that, so they can't step in. But it's like I'm glad you're thinking about the fact that you're in over your head. You need some help. Superheroes. If I know Daredevil and I need like, like some help with some stuff, I'm gonna call him up. At least trying to reach somebody. I don't care if it's Luke Cage or Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange, somebody. I need some backup if I'm going through like a difficult villain that I can't handle myself. It's like at least especially out of my power range or something like that. I need like the backup. But Cindy decides to handle this herself. Uh, so she goes to her friends. She's kind of getting stuck because she hasn't like really figured out yet until this food influencer critic thing. Because there are people like that kind of have a social media following by going to different restaurants, live streaming uh, uh, their opinion about foods. And once this dude, uh, 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 is live streaming, tasting this. I'm pretty sure it's a Korean dish in Koreatown, and the because one of Cindy's friends are following this guy, and she sees one of the Manio's goons in the background, and luckily he's not too far away from where she is, but he still arrives too late, and the Manio steals his. Well, it wasn't the goons, it was Manio herself, because like Cindy and Luna kind of took down all of her goons. The Manio took his energy. Now it's kind of like, a little bit more revitalized. Cindy trying to take on this woman. But it's her strength is like, and she makes the mistake of trying to web her up, but the Manio takes the webbing and the energy travels, and she steals Cindy's youth. Now, the Manio is completely kind of revitalized, and Cindy is now an old lady, and her powers is kind of like diminished quite a bit because of that. To the point where now it's like she's trying to like stop a robbery, but she can't really do what she normally can do very easily. And the crooks kind of took pity on her. It's like, dude, it's like my grandma. It's like just let it go. So they just leave her there. Now she kind of feels some type of way because like, oh my god, it's like,
Congratulations.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Come on. Whatever. Now it's like, Cindy, she has a brother. She discovered she had like a brother that, she at some point in other Silk comics that did not read, but at some point along, probably in the last adventure of her comics, also written by Emily Kim, she has like a brother, and that's where like they're roommates, and she can't go to him because she doesn't want to worry him, so she goes to her friends and trying to like hunker down a bit and try to figure out how she's gonna deal with this creature. She eventually goes to J. Jonah Jameson as Silk and trying to give some bit of advice because like she see J. Jonah Jameson been around the block. He is not elderly but old, and like how because she always been having like an old soul, but now she's legit old by happenstance, and she wants to know how he gets through it. And he basically breaks it down to her because I like J. Jonah Jameson in the past few years, at least a handful of years, not as uh, antagonistic towards Spider-Man or anything associated with Spider-Man, but he still want to profit off of Spider-Man, but he's not like spewing all this like Spider-Man's a menace kind of attitude. It's less that now, and he gives Silk some advice that basically like you're only as old as you think you are. You don't let your age wear you down. You still can, despite your age, you still can function in society. It's not like back in the day, basically, where it's like, if you're too old to hunt, they cast you out of society. No, you still have a lot to offer. You should not let that bring you down. It's, nice little words of wisdom. Then, of course, he tags along when she's trying to, because she can't get around as easily, and she can't rely on her webs to traverse herself towards the museum when she want to take on the Manio. So she, in exchange for some pictures of her, Jonah offers her to give her a ride to the museum, and that's where she finally dukes it out with the Manio. And uh, 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 thanks to some quick thinking, she, because Manio was trying to open up a portal to bring her timeline into the modern age, because it's all about like kind of like nostalgia of like the youth, or just like fighting time essentially. So he's trying to bring her time in the present day. Cindy kicks her through the portal, which kind of reverse the, is kind of an easy kind of fix of certain things. It's kind of like with the Chitauri in the first Avengers movie. It's like, oh, just destroy this one thing and all of them go collapse. So without the, I guess, anchor to this time, and she got kicked through the portal, it cuts off the, or reverses the effects, and everybody who the Manio stole the youth from gets it all back. And so all the social media influencers who got their youth stolen, get it back. They're back to their social media kind of stuff. And Cindy kind of, got a different perspective, thanks to Jonah. Jonah in a way kind of helped save the day, giving Cindy, the pep talk she needed. Like, it's like, even when she was young, she kind of felt old and out of place. But she, got a different perspective. It's like, I'm only as old as I think I am. And it's like, there is a place for me after all. It's never really explained if she, hooking up back with that guy she met in her hacking class. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this. It's nice, a little short one-off adventure with Cindy. And, I think you can tell the story with, somebody like Captain America too. But I think it's an appropriate little one-off adventure with Cindy. I should read other Silk comics. There's one that was made in 2021. I should check that out at some point. But yeah, I dig this. I highly recommend this Silk comic, this 2022 Silk comic, because it wasn't a specific title. I tried to find it. But if you want to see this, just type in Silk 2022, written by Emily Kim, and you have this. It's actually a pretty decent story. But yeah, pretty sure next week I'll have at least, at the most, two other. I'm trying to do like at least two, bare minimum one Spider-Man comic each week until I clear up my list. It's not that long of a list, but I want to cover as much Spider-Verse type of characters as I can. Just to make sure because I wanted to do this last year, but didn't get a chance to. But I want to make sure I try to get this done, as well as trying to get through some X-Men stuff this year. But anyway, I'll what's the next Spider stuff that I should take care of? Because I want to start the TV show stuff as well, since I just wrapped up Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D Season 2, which you can find my spoiler review on that on my YouTube channel. I'll go with Spider-Man India and Manga Spider-Man. Another couple of short ones. That'll be kind of fun. So yeah, Spider-Man India and Manga Spider-Man probably the next one. And then also the try to, maybe not right away, but eventually get through, once I try to get through 90 Spider-Man TV shows as much as I can. Uh, cause you know, 'cause I'm pretty sure it's like 2 or 3 seasons. I gotta double check Disney Plus. At the most, it should be 2 seasons, and I'm gonna try to do like one season, then the next season back to back. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the Silk 2022 comic. If you read it, do you like it? It wasn't your cup of tea. Let me know. And yeah, I will see you guys a little bit later as I play some Evil West and try to get through to that, because I need to wrap that up pretty soon before, because in a couple of weeks, Fire Emblem Engage will come out, and I want to get started on that as a new video game walkthrough. So anyway, I will see you guys soon.